not, it's no big deal. You know how to end it. It's not.
This is probably one time that I'm a little bit comfortable with my back turned to the street. That is not usually the case.
All right, once y'all are ready, y'all good?
Yeah.
So let's speak up too for the cameras. The audience can get us. Well, good morning, everybody. First, I would like to thank the media for coming out here to hear the story about Samuel Njuna, effectively known as Nagy by so many, about the announcement of the civil lawsuit that has been filed against CK Acquisitions, who's doing business at CK Mart. Before you today is myself, Attorney Tyler Bailey. We have Mr. Njuna, Samuel Njuna, who's Nagy's dad. And we have Javar Juarez, with the Broad River Business Alliance. And this is our brother and friend, Nagy, who I've known since I was a kid. We played football together, grew up in parks, and who's tragically, unfortunately, lost his life June 2023. But this lawsuit comes out of an incident where Mr. Njuna, Nagy, was shot right over here around 1:30 in the morning on October 6th. This has been a hotbed for criminal activity, a cesspool for open-air drug trafficking. Loitering happens frequently. There's been overdoses in the area, and the owners of this business knew what they should have done to protect the people who were shopping here. Nagy survived his initial attack, but that was just the beginning of his suffering. He was a successful actor. Booked in movies all across the country. He was really pride and joy from this area. Everybody knew him. We were excited to see everything that Nagy was doing. But the shooting not only almost took his life initially physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. It triggered a cycle of depression from missed opportunities. For example, when he was shot, hit the ground, chips his tooth, loses an opportunity to be in a big movie, recovering for his wounds. And as an actor, you only have a short window of time. That really started everything with Nagy's demise. And unfortunately, he lost his life as a result of this shooting after struggling with depression, some substance misuse, and other mental health issues that started because of this shooting. And he tragically lost his life in June of 2023. And so this lawsuit really is about justice for Nagy, full justice, the criminal justice system, and everybody who's civilly responsible by being negligent, but also to stand up for our community who's tired of this. They're tired of the loitering, the crime at the gas stations, when owners know what they should be doing, but unfortunately they're profiting off that business model. They're profiting by having people loitering at night, who are purchasing drugs, who are using drugs in the area. They're profiting by not having just a little bit extra money so they can have security. But they'd rather have that money in their pocket. There's nobody stopping loitering. The sheriff's department can only do but so much they can do on their end. And by this lawsuit, we're hoping that the owners not only do what they should do to make sure that Nagy's family is fully compensated fairly for his suffering that he sustained. He's the one who shot and did not live to see this day. But his family's still suffering today. His mom is still suffering today, who we will make available for interviews later on. His father's suffering, his siblings are suffering, and the community at whole was suffering. My brother preached his funeral right down this street. We just celebrated the anniversary of his death a couple months ago. And so we hope that this lawsuit not only is a point of healing, but also a point of vindication and any semblance of justice that the family can receive. One thing that was shocking about this case was the fact that there were criminal charges that were initiated against the shooter. It's my understanding that case may have been resolved. The family did not participate in that case, not because they didn't want to, but they weren't notified. They didn't know about it. And so, justice is not just the criminal justice system. It's full justice, the civil justice system. And by this lawsuit, that's what we're asking for. There was an individual murdered right over here, too. All right, you had a woman who sexually assaulted on live video and uploaded to Facebook while the owners are there and countless people in the public are recording it. That type of activity going unchecked causes more problems. And hopefully this lawsuit really is a stepping point in cleaning up this area. But we still want justice for Nagy, and that's what we're here today to announce this lawsuit and to let y'all ask us questions, also hear from interested stakeholders. So now I'd like y'all to hear from Mr. Njuna, who's going to talk about his son.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Sam Nagy. I'm a long-time resident of this community, 20 years plus. And as you can see, I'm holding a big poster of my son. This is the one we had at his funeral. He was, everybody knew him. He was an accomplished actor. He staged in major movies. And after he got shot, right across the street, something happened to him. For most people who have done mental health, psychologists or therapists, they know that there's something called acute trauma. That's when something happens in your life that kind of changes everything about you. And then, of course, it moves on as time goes by to complex trauma. That's when you can never get rest from it. And as a result of that, this boy his life just turned around. And over the next year and a half, he spiraled from this actor who was so accomplished, articulate, straight A student at Amo High School, to this person who, at one point, we almost didn't recognize him. We tried every help. And as a result of that trauma that was caused right over here, senselessly, when he got shot, that's how I lost my son.
Sir, what's your overall feeling? Is it regret, anger? How are you feeling about the whole situation?
I think it's all of the above.
Yeah.
Because, see, grief comes in cycles. I was okay for a while until I got here. Holding this poster just brings back all the memories. And I think this place is a cesspool. It needs to be shut down. Drugs are sold here openly. I've been here tonight and I can see the transaction right there. We've had more mugging. We've had rapes in this particular area because the people down this right next building, they don't care about anybody but themselves. And I'm here because this boy needs justice. And our family attorney and myself and my family, we want to make sure that justice is done.
And,
Yeah.
You know, Nagy lost his life right here. He ultimately passed away right here. When I say right here, he lost his life near this oak tree that's behind y'all right now. That's where he eventually passed away in June of 2023. When people are struggling, they're struggling whether financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you have an area right by them that's a business that's allowing this to happen, how are they going to overcome their struggles? And they know that's going on. All they have to do is enforce the law a little bit. Hey, no loitering. Hey, if they know people are drugged, they can call the police. But having it go unfettered is what's causing more problems by that. What does that do to a community who knows when a rape happens that nobody does anything? They think they can do anything over here.
Yeah.
And I want y'all to hear from Javar, who's talking as a member who lives in this community, but also on behalf of the Broad River Business Alliance.
Y'all, I'm sorry because this. When I wrote to Tyler last year, I didn't just write to him as the president of our area's organization. I wrote to him as a citizen of the Broad River District. I've been calling on Richland County at every level to intervene. I'm somebody that has buried 9 people within my own family that have succumbed to gun violence. I'm somebody that has lost 30% of the people that I grew up with to gun violence. We marched 7.5 miles in this community, all the way to Right Direction Church, from Lucius Road, standing in solidarity. Hundreds of us. That has never happened on Broad River Road. To say enough is enough. We marched when Demarion Corbett lost his life in the Riverside community. We stood in solidarity as the Eau Claire 3 were gunned down. For Travis Jones and Hyatt Park and the other 3 children, we are standing here today not just for Sammy, but we're standing for all of the black lives that should matter. We're standing here today because we are saying that we are done. We're formulating plans and strategies as businessmen and women to make sure that the businesses that are found within our district, that they do not denigrate our human condition, but they uplift us. They create a family-oriented environment that people that don't call me at 6 o'clock at night saying, Javar, I'm scared to leave my house. A lot of people think about us from just one street. But let me tell you something, South Carolina, on this day. Sammy's life had value. All of our lives have value. This community has value. Not just because we happen to have beautiful neighborhoods just on either side of this one road, but because we deserve to have peace. My Bible tells me that Jesus came that we would have life and have it more abundantly. The Declaration of Independence says that I have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That includes liberation from fear of being shot trying to get gas. Liberation from fear of being shot while trying to transact in a gas station that don't care nothing about us. To the sum that they could pay $45 an hour to make sure that there's a sheriff parked, that there's private security. But they don't want to do that because our lives don't have value. And so, yes, we believe in a free and open economy. But we also believe in an economy that supports its people, that's good for its people, that doesn't denigrate our humanity or our human condition and break the spirit of the community. That's exactly what has happened here. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and we've already seen them lined up in front of the store. 9 o'clock in the morning, and you selling crack cocaine and methamphetamines in our community. Our elders and our children should not live in fear, and we won't stand for it. So we praise God for Brother Bailey because he listened. He heard our cries. We continue to keep an open line of communication with him. And today we stand in the gap for those that cannot stand in the gap for themselves. I'm emotional today because it could be any one of us. It could be your child. So for those of you that say, oh, why you want to close the store down? Because this business is a cancer in our community. This business is keeping other businesses from growing and prospering. Other businesses in this community deserve to have the same life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's what Sammy deserved. That's what he deserved. He was celebrating a tremendous milestone. He was celebrating minding his business after coming off of a successful run on Amazon, only to come to his own hometown and be gunned down to nothing. No, today we say to every level of government that if you are not on our side, you are against us. And we, as the people, will not stand for it.
Thank you. So you hear what we're here for today. And Nagy deserves to be living and thriving. You know, we all believed that he was going to be in the next Black Panther. And he was excited about it. He interviewed for a position, and, you know, when we saw the script of Black Panther 2, after hearing those lines, we believed that Nagy was going to be in that film. But he lost that opportunity as a result of struggling from his recovery from this shooting. So we're here to stand in the gap, as Javar said, for Nagy and for this entire community. And we're gonna push CK Mart or CK Acquisitions and whoever else is behind running this business to do what they should do. They got signs up to say no loitering, but we've all witnessed here personally this morning, people hanging out doing whatever. What do y'all think it looks like at night? I know what it looks like at 1:30 in the morning. Javar knows what it looks like at 1:30 in the morning. Dr. Nagy knows what it looks like late at night. And more people are going to get harmed as this stuff keeps happening. And one thing about Nagy's legacy is he cared about this area, and we hope through this lawsuit he's going to change this area for the better. But we're happy to answer any questions that y'all have.
Yeah, my question is, what version of responsibility do you think with CK Mart or all their gas stations or to their customers?
Yeah, so people who deserve to be able to go to a business and shop safely. And the business owners know that there's a risk of them being hurt by, let's say, a drug deal going on, a shooting, then they have an obligation to try to prevent that from happening. Now, could things happen? Yes, but you asked me this. You think that this shooting would have happened if they would have saw a sheriff's deputy parked right up front that could be paid for $45? No, they wouldn't even think about probably doing that because they know that the officer is right there. And the problem is that the business owners know all that stuff is going on. They know about the robberies. They know about the murder. They know about the rape. And they know all these things. And rather than do what they should do, if they're going to do business in this area, hey, pay a little bit more for security. Improve the lighting. Take care of the blight. These trash bags and stuff all around here that people could put drug paraphernalia, hide a firearm in, take care of those things, right? And then they'll be safer. So the obligation is really that of a good neighbor. It's no different from a person if you were living in a neighborhood and they're having wild parties all the time, allowing drunk drivers to get in the cars and leave freely. Somebody could get hurt by a drunk driver, right? We all know that type of responsibility. And businesses who do business in high crime areas should try to deter crime, not have a setting that's just going to prey on the people who live in the area.
Has this business always been a nuisance, or was it just since the shooting in 2021?
No, it's been a nuisance. I mean, it's well known about CK Mart. People don't want to come here late at night, if you know, but the people who do come here late at night a lot of times are coming here for a reason. All right? Most people would drive by this gas station late at night and say, I don't need to go, right? So this has been a nuisance. There's been calls from the Broad River Business District to have this place shut down for some time. I mean, murders that are happening over here, the drug dealing that's happening over here, and this is my community. Our church is right down the road. We care about Broad River. We want people to live here. We want positive development. But this has been a nuisance, and the owners probably know more than we even know about what goes on, the stuff that you don't read about in the paper or you don't hear about on the news. The murders, the shootings, those happen when the problems are allowed to continue to go unchecked. There's been no checking of them. They've been able to operate freely. I mean, look to your right. Look, literally, if y'all want to turn your cameras over, look all those people out there. Y'all don't have to, but
they bold.
And it says no loitering.
Yeah, they're bold.
It says no loitering clearly there. And what people are loitering and doing a lot of times is, maybe they're dealing with substance abuse, and they know they can get something that's going to feel that pain real quickly. And the business owners should care about the humanity of a person, prevent these things from happening.
And then Mr. Sammy Shooter, whatever happened to him?
So, criminal charges were brought against him. The solicitor's office would be the one who's in charge of prosecuting the shooter. The family has not been notified of any of the pleadings, or the proceedings outside of the initial bond hearing that happened. Outside of that, that's the only thing. Matter of fact, when he got bond, Nagy was in the hospital still fighting for his life, matter of fact. When he received his bond, and Nagy was in the hospital fighting for his life, and they have not heard anything since then. I would encourage y'all to check with the prosecutor's office on where the case stands. I've heard something that the person may have been sentenced to probation. I can't confirm that yet, but the public records would.
And do you have a report of maybe how many shootings or how many crimes happened out here? Like, do you have those numbers?
We don't have all those numbers yet. We're compiling them. Some of the sightings in the lawsuit were the sexual assault that happened here, right over there. I think that was in 2022. And then we also had the murder that happened in 2021, or vice versa. But those were three of the big ones. And also, when you're collecting the data, they look in a certain radius around here. And so those numbers are going to be shocking once they're revealed. We're still compiling them all. But anybody who's from this area, we know about the problems over here.
My last question with the problems over here. I've actually seen this road on many YouTube videos under headlines like the most dangerous road in Colombia and stuff like that. What will improve this area and not make videos like that?
We have a plan. It is very difficult to implement the kind of revitalization because we're not talking about gentrifying our community. We're talking about revitalizing our community. We're talking about putting in investments that have been in the works for 5 years now. There's a process that has to occur, and it begins with cleaning up bad actors, developers to help us. We have plans to develop over 200 apartments. We have plans for mixed-use development. We just shared with with Mr. Bailey our plans for that development on the other day. We've met with Senator Devine. We're constantly in motion as an organized unit, pushing innovation, creativity, partnering with the federal government. The federal government and the Department of Justice said that crime is going to be the biggest factor in your ability to be able to turn the community around and put development in there. Developers are watching. We have a $152 million infrastructure upgrade happening as we speak. That $152 million infrastructure upgrade is poised to change the whole face of our community, the whole way that our community operates. This is the moment that we have. And the federal government has said, you're gonna have to weed out those bad actors, because we know that economics is the largest segment that you have to have in order to be able to turn a district like this around. Now, mind you, it's just one street. It's just one road. This is the epicenter of thriving industry. When you look around in our district, people only see just this one road, but they don't see that we've got at least 4 or 5 of some of the largest employers in the state right here. Right here. And then in between, you have bad actors that are giving us a bad name, that are making it difficult for property values to increase and for developers to say, we're willing to come and invest millions of dollars into your community. But I want you all to know that it's in the works. We've continued to communicate this plan. We've continued to develop. We've continued to call on Richland County. We've continued to call on the City of Columbia. Now, the City of Columbia has been much more responsive than the county has, for sure. Because I believe if we were in the City of Columbia, this business would not be open. We saw the same thing at Main and Elmwood. We saw the same thing with Social Nightclub. And not nearly half as much has happened at Social Nightclub as it has here. When we look at Main and Elmwood, as the City of Columbia began to revitalize its Main Street district, and that prime investment that is causing that corridor to be uplifted, we understood that Main and Elmwood, that Quickie Mart, needed to be shut down for that to happen. But look at Social. 1 or 2 incidents, drugs, nobody had been killed. Their investigators shut it down. Why then does this store, this Rose Gold, does the CK Mart on South End of Broad River continue to be allowed to operate? That brings into the question, do black lives matter?
One question I think is important. We're talking about economics being a driver and stopping crime. We talked a little bit about the $45 an hour that would have cost for private security. Nagi's life was worth a lot more than $45 an hour. And all that takes a lot of time for crime to stop is little deterrence. There's a reason why you walk in Walmart, there's a greeter up front. You walk in Walmart and there's a greeter up front. It reminds people who are going there, let's say you're going there, you want to shoplift, that somebody may be watching you and look you in the eyes. That's a bit of crime prevention, a crime deterrent. Having a deputy out here being paid to do some private security would deter the criminal activity from happening. Having something like, what's the other private alliance? Allied. Having something like that to ride around would deter the criminal activity. And so sometimes it takes, unfortunately, for Nagi's family, who's been looking for justice the entire time, we're hoping that this is a motivator for them to do what's right in the future, but also to do what's right for this family and do what was right for Nagi. He should be here.
Would the city or county be okay with sending a deputy or somebody out here?
It's private property. It's a private business. They can, of course, come here to respond to criminal activity, right? They could. I think they've been willing to have a deputy placed out here for a small fee, essentially, because they're making more than $45 an hour, or well more, in gas and soda and food, tobacco.
But it's up to the business owner. This is private property. It is up to the business owner to put people on trespass. It's up to the business owner to do that.
Right.
The sheriff is not going to push that onto the business owner. It will be up to them to do that. And furthermore, you're in Zone 4. Zone 4, Richland County, Our deputies are already spread thin because you're in the same district that sheriff deputies have to respond to calls all the way back to Newberry. We need more deputies now. So unless you're paying, and we're saying that you can afford to pay, you can afford that in tobacco alone to ensure that allied or universal security is out here. But that's not what's taking place at this moment. They're not making the kind of investment that they should be making. This is an issue that they could create the steps to remedy, but you have to first have the heart for the people that are in your community.
Yeah, doing business is a privilege. That's why people have business licenses for a reason. And so you got to do good business. You got to care about your customers. They're more than just a transaction. You know, I would not feel comfortable if my great aunt or something lived over here and she had no water as a result of the storm and she wanted to walk up here and get some water at night. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Maybe she could get caught in something that she was just an innocent bystander on. And that happens every day. More and more we hear about this. So that's what we're here for today. We hope this lawsuit sends a message to the community, brings justice for Nagy. We appreciate the courage for his father and family to take this step. Because, you know, when you're trying to seek justice and you seem like you're let down over and over again, sometimes you're willing to give up. And we hope this sends a message not for other families as well, who know that you can try to do something on your own to make things better. Everybody deserves justice, and there's avenues that people can get it, and there's a greater good that can happen by doing things like this. And the message getting out. Maybe this helps another gas station, let's say, on North Main, that, you know, I'm going to have private security because I don't want to be the next one of these cases. That helps make communities better. Any other questions?
Can you talk about the specifics of what this lawsuit seeks, whether it's for this place to be closed, any financial compensation?
So this lawsuit, one is a negligence case for them knowing about the problems here and failing to take reasonable steps to make sure people are safe. What the family is asking for is damages for the pain, suffering, and everything that Nagy went for on his transition, unfortunately, to his demise. And so, you know, there's not a specific dollar amount. That's not what's alleged here. What they're asking for is for a court to hear this case and for them to give a just verdict. And that's what they're committed to doing. They just want justice out of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he would be proud.
Yeah, he would be proud.
He would be proud that you're standing in the gap.
Yeah.
I got the chance to talk with him.